Did Donald Trump ever really want to be president? My theory for a while has been that Donald Trump sort of overestimated the intelligence of Republican primary voters. He thought, I'll run and it'll be publicity, but these people aren't actually going to select me as their nominee because I don't know anything. And clearly I have no business being president of the United States. But he ended up winning the primary and realized I can't just back out now. That would be really bad. So what really is going on in Donald Trump's head right now, just days before this election? Well, Gabriel Sherman, who has done some great reporting, was given access by Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway to the Trump campaign during recent days. There's a fascinating article in New York Magazine, which I would encourage you to read in total. But the most shocking part of it is a portion where Kellyanne Conway explains that Trump is totally indifferent about whether he wins or not. And Kellyanne actually had to explain to Trump, listen, you have to try to win because people are working for you. People have donated to you. The Republican Party has elected you. You can't just bail. And she actually said to Gabriel Sherman that she got really mad at Trump because he revealed that he's essentially indifferent to the election results. I'll put a quote up for you from this article where Kellyanne Conway says, he said, I think we'll win. And if not, that's okay too. And I said, it's not okay. You can't say that. Your dry cleaning bill is like the annual salaries of the people who came to your rallies and they believe in you. And this isn't even that new because in August, even Trump himself told CNBC, if at the end of 90 days I've fallen short, it's okay. I go back to a very good way of life. At the end, it's either going to work or I'm going to, I'm going to have a very nice long vacation. And Kellyanne Conway told Gabriel Sherman that she had to confront Trump and say, you can't talk about a really nice long vacation because you don't care if you win. This is in a way the opposite of Mitt Romney in his final days, where we saw through that documentary Mitt, which is on Netflix and is fantastic. He wanted it and he really thought he was going to win. And with Trump, it seems like he kind of realizes the odds are not in his favor. And he seems absolutely and totally neutral about whether, hey, I'll be the next president of the U.S. or I won't. It's kind of all the same to me.
And I don't think he expected to do so well from the beginning. I think it just kind of caught on. And maybe he didn't want to do the work at first, but then he realized, well, I can give out the responsibilities to Mike Pence and other people, and I can just be like a figurehead president.
Yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, she's a great motivational speaker. I think she should probably transition to doing that for a living. But I think there's a few things here. I think one of the reasons maybe he's saying, I don't care if I win or not, I'll just take a vacation, is he's not in politics. I feel like if you have a stake in politics, then you will definitely kind of have a different opinion about the outcome and maybe care more if you lose or win. And another thing that I just was thinking about is I'm wondering if this is kind of confirming the Michael Moore conspiracy theory about this is just he wanted a higher negotiating power because he was upset with his NBC deal. I'm wondering if this is true.
Well, I think what Trump is realizing one way or the other is that the president has lots of power and Donald Trump is very hungry for power. But when you're the president, it's not completely unchecked absolute power the way it is when you're the CEO, right? You can decide, you're the decider as the president.
Or Vladimir Putin.
Or Vladimir Putin. You're the decider if you're president of the U.S. within relatively narrowly established bounds and decisions that are sort of okayed and approved and laid out for you by huge teams of people in the judiciary and all of these other forms of government apparatus that exist. So I think that Trump is very power hungry, but maybe he's realizing, Pat, that the type of power you get as president is not like being CEO of the Donald J. Trump Foundation.
And I don't think he even realizes that. And that's why we often criticize him for having some fascistic qualities, right? I'm sure he's okay with not being president. I just don't think he wants to lose so publicly.
Well, I think, one thing, I think that there are some Trump supporters, Rachel, who will see this and they'll say, I like the fact that he doesn't really care that much about whether he wins or not. I like the fact that he doesn't even really understand what exactly the president can and can't do because he's an outsider and he'll come in like an outsider as if that's some objectively good thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm also kind of wondering now if he would rather drop out or lose on his own terms.
Yeah.
That's something I've thought about.
No, I think that this has not been good for Trump in a lot of ways. Trump hotel bookings are really suffering. This can't be good for his kids, right? 16, 17 sexual assault allegations against their dad. this can't be good for the relationship with Melania, right? I mean, I know that she said, hey, he's apologized and I've accepted the apology. I don't think that this has been particularly good for Trump, Pat.
Right, and it's kind of too late to get out now, right? There's a week left in the election.
Yeah.
There was plenty of chances for him to get out with a certain golden parachute, and I think he just denied and didn't accept any of those possibilities.
Well, maybe now he's learning how passing laws works in Congress.
He's getting more of a sense that things don't just automatically happen in politics when you're president of the United States. Let's take a break. I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. We'll be back after this. We've had as a sponsor this week betdsi.com, where it's not like one of these just online sports betting sites where you're betting on the line for an NFL game. You can do that, but they're actually doing election odds and election bets. And people have been emailing me saying, David, I'm thrilled that you have BetDSI as a sponsor, and I use the coupon code Pakman25 because it's so obvious what's going to happen on November 8th, and I'm going to make a killing with it. And to you, I say, that's great. Let's talk on November 9th. And it's just so funny when people email me as if my coverage of the election makes no sense because it's 100% written on the wall, everything that's going to happen on November 8th. We know that the odds in the real world and on betdsi.com are in favor of Hillary Clinton in the national election. But we also know that we've seen some tightening in Donald Trump's favor over the last week or so. So if you're super confident, go to betdsi.com. They've been in business for 20 years. The mobile website they have is great. I hate it when I go to a website on my phone and it's just a disaster on your phone. It's not at all optimized for phone. betdsi.com is easy to use from any device. And use the code Pakman25, Pakman25. You will get a free $25 for an election play. And then let's talk on November 9th and see who really did know what was going to happen.